back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well out there. And today we're going to head back to the 80s for a retelling of Charles Dickens' immortal Scrooge. But before we do that, do me a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. Join me here. I greatly would appreciate that. Also, a shameless plug for my TeePublic page. You can check on that. Link will be down below. And today we're going to talk about 1988's Scrooge, which I just got on 4K from Paramount. And I'll say up front, this movie's never looked better. The transfer is spectacular, and there's a bunch of special features on there. They're older special features that were filmed years ago, but they're on here, so it's pretty informative about the production of this film. So if you like this film, I think you can get on Amazon for $20. It's well worth it. The transfer is really well done, and it sounds really good. Now, this film came out November 23rd of 1988. It's PG-13. It's an hour and 41 minutes long, had a budget of $32 million, and upon release, it made 60 in America and 100 worldwide. This film was directed by Richard Donner. Richard Donner is a legendary filmmaker. He made the original Superman, Superman 2, Donner Cut, The Omen, The Goonies, Lethal Weapon 1, 2, 3, and 4, many other films. So he's definitely a shorthand director to come in for this film. Bill Murray stars as Frank Cross, our version of Ebenezer Scrooge in this film. Karen Allen plays Claire, a love interest for Frank. They were together when they were younger, and then Frank went his merry old way into TV executiveship and became basically Ebenezer Scrooge, as we all know him from other past iterations of this character. John Glover plays Bryce Cummings. We also got Bobcat Goldthwait in this film. We got Carol Kane in this film as the Ghost of Christmas Present. Robert Mitchum, Lee Majors, John Houseman's in this film, and Buddy Hackett, and many other recognizable faces, and 3 Murray brothers are in this film as well. We'll talk about that in a second. And pretty much just is an updated version of Scrooged, taking place in the 80s, except Ebenezer's named Frank Cross. He's a TV executive now, and he is ruthless. He only cares about high ratings and making money, and he doesn't care about anything else. He's nasty. He's mean to his supportive staff. And Grace, even though you can tell he likes her, he says really crazy shit to her as well. And we pretty much see somebody who's lost. And pretty soon, the ghosts come to visit him. His old boss comes to visit him and tells him 3 ghosts are going to visit him. And sure enough, first one's the cab driver, the ghost of Christmas Past, takes him back to see his childhood, which we see his brother, Brian Doyle Murray, as his father. And his childhood wasn't the greatest. It was okay, but it wasn't the greatest. And we see him throughout his life, different periods of his life. When he meets Claire, their love affair starts. Then he gets Ghost of Christmas Present. And then obviously the Ghost of Christmas Future. And finally, Frank realizes that he has to change his life. And we see that at the end of the film, his IBC network is doing this live broadcast of Charles Dickens' Scrooged, that they're shooting live in studio on Christmas Eve. And Frank comes out and just gives this impassioned speech about just being a better person, being better people. And it's a really well done. And by Bill Murray, he did a lot of improv on this movie. And it's a great speech at the end. I've always liked this film, but let's dive into it a little bit more. What do I like about this film? Well, Bill Murray. Bill Murray's great. I mean, Bill Murray's a legend in the movie business. But funny enough, looking through some stuff, this was actually Bill Murray's first starring role since 1984's Ghostbusters. He had done a few supporting roles, but he moved to France, and he was thinking about giving up acting, and he came back to the States to do this film. And, Karen Allen's great here as Claire. She's definitely somebody great to play off of Bill Murray. She's like the calming of the storm that Bill Murray is, because Bill Murray comes in, he's so big, so over the top, and he's, Donner even says on the special features, but if you read about this film, I mean, Murray did a lot of improvisation during the film. And the supporting cast is great. Bobcat Goldthwait, John Glover, who's always great when he's on screen. Great supporting cast. And, I just love the setup. I mean, it's a very chaotic film. It's a loud film, but it's one that I've always enjoyed. And really, I love Scrooged as a story, and this is probably my favorite iteration, only because I love Bill Murray's performance here. I really do. And Donner's directing. The effects are pretty badass. I mean, they had a $32 million budget. In '88, that was a huge budget. And there's some really cool effects here, a lot of practical effects. And I love the beginning with the commercials, like Santa Claus getting sieged and Lee Majors shows up. I love that the night the reindeer died. I love all that stuff. I really like this film. I really do. Is there any drawbacks? I think it's too choppy. They said there was a lot of footage cut out. Like they shot a lot of footage and a lot of it was cut out. If you watch the film, you could tell it's a little choppy where there's probably missing scenes. Like there should have been more of a scene or maybe something else. But overall, they hide it very well. And Donner was a pro, God rest his soul. And it's a really good, fun Christmas movie. And I love the horror imagery, especially with the Ghost of Christmas Future. I love his design. I love the things that are the souls that are caught inside of his chest cavity. I love all that, the dark imagery mixed with the comedy. And obviously this is PG-13. It's not, kids can watch this. Although if they're too young, you might want to watch the Muppets Christmas Carol or the Mickey Christmas Carol. I like those versions as well. The drawbacks are pretty much that. Just sometimes it can feel a little choppy and it's so bombastic at times and there's so much going on and a lot of noise. And sometimes it can be a little overwhelming, but overall, I really love this film. It's a movie I watch every Christmas. Now, as I said in the beginning, 3 of Bill Murray's brothers are in this film. John Murray, Joel Murray, and Brian Doyle Murray. They've all been in other films, and Brian Doyle Murphy's been in a ton of films and other films with Bill. He was in Ghostbusters 2 as the doctor at the insane asylum that takes them after they're committed by Kurt Fuller's character. And then he showed up in Caddyshack. I mean, Brian Doyle, he's in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I mean, he's been in a ton of stuff. And Murray's other brothers have showed up from time to time and other stuff as well. The scene in the restaurant when he's having lunch with Bryce Cummings and Robert Mitchum's character, and Bill Murray gets up after he kind of has this meltdown, like breakdown, and he thinks he sees the waiter on fire and he douses him with water and he goes to walk out of the restaurant and he falls. That was unscripted. That wasn't planned. Bill Murray fell and they just kept the camera rolling and they left it in the film. I thought that was pretty cool. Supposedly Bill Murray and Richard Donner did not get along completely on the set. So, the movie is still pretty damn cool. At the end of the day, I really like this film. It's a movie I watch every Christmas. I just watched it on Sunday, this new 4K from Paramount, which I recommend if you're a fan of this film. Again, the transfer is the best this film's ever looked, and the sound is really well done as well, and there's some special features on there. It's one I pull out every year. It's one of my top 10 favorite Christmas movies, and I would give Scrooged a 9 out of 10. A 9 out of 10 for Bill Murray's Scrooged. What are your thoughts on this film? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Share this video. I greatly would appreciate that. I'll be back soon with some more reviews, but until next time, bye.